Okay, let's talk geometry. Let's talk squat, anti-squat and swing arm angles. So let's deal with squat first. So essentially it is what it sounds like. The back of the bike sits down. And when it does so, it gives you a lot of grip, sometimes too much. And what it then does is pushes the front out because the front is so light now it can't track, and you're effectively getting an understeer. You might compensate for that in a couple of ways. You might go for a stiffer spring on the rear, or you might go for some more rebound on the front. But in reality, when it comes to the rear, if you've already set your sag figures and they're correct, then all you're going to do is remove some of that and create yourself another problem later on. But of course, without geometry parts, your options are limited. So the next one is anti-squat, which, as you can imagine, is the complete opposite of squat. It's where the bike rises up at the back under acceleration. Now, if you want to see this in action, park your front wheel against the wall and slowly let the clutch out until the bike bites, the rear tyre bites, and you will feel the back of the bike rise. If you don't, get yourself down a suspension shop fairly sharpish. Now, if the bike comes up at the rear too fast and too far, then essentially what you're going to get is a lot of grip, and then all of a sudden you're going to have none and the tyre is going to spin. When that releases the loads on there, you'll get squat back, she'll sit back down, she'll grip, and all of a sudden that motorcycle is going to turn into a bucking bronco. Now at this point you might want to consider putting some control on the rear shock. If she's got too much anti-squat there, you can slow the rate at which she goes back up by controlling the rebound. But in reality, the two things that are controlling this is your chain pull, which can be affected by gearing, but you don't want to be altering that if it's correct, and your swing arm angle. Now, when I've reached this point, I turn to a chassis program. All the dimensions of the bike goes in there, and it will tell me what I've got as a anti-squat percentage. It will tell me what I've got as a swing arm angle. And sometimes just having those numbers in front of you allows you to sit there, digest it all, and suddenly see some things that may well correspond to some of the problems that you might be having. But if I detect I can improve or remove some of these problems by altering my swing arm angle, that's when I turn to the swing arm inserts. The ones I do for the Triumph, plus 1mm, plus 2mm, or the complete reverse, -1 and -2. Essentially, by changing that swing arm angle and the relationship with the chain on the top and the pull, I can start to fine tune the squat and the anti-squat and get to a place that the bike really feels perfect. She's coming out of the corner, she's gripping, she's not spinning, she's not doing excessive wear on the tyre. And when I hit the next corner, I can put the bike down on her nose, run into the corner, open that throttle, and I get good traction from the front, nice tight lines, and everything is feeling good. Now, I appreciate that chassis programs are expensive items to have, but if you need work done on your bike, I have a chassis program. You can make an appointment and we can talk it through and see what your bike looks like. Now, all of this might sound really complex, and in reality it is, but once you grasp the basics of it, a lot of it is common sense. So don't be frightened of it. I'll do my best to hold your hand.